Chapter 10 of the Plum and the Golden Vase. Chongzhen version of the embroidered portrait. A righteous man serves the Mingzhu road, while his wife and concubines enjoy the Furong Pavilion. The word sees, in the Mid-Autumn Festival in August, the cool breeze is slightly playful, but the hibiscus is in bloom. Whose sisters fight over their new makeup and join hands for a walk in the garden. After breaking off the flower branches, the treasure vase came back to enjoy the wine. 3 cups of drunkenness will destroy the city of sorrow, and when you wake up, your sorrow will return. It is said that Wu was taken by the local Baojia to the county to see the magistrate, but there was no question. Simon King jumped out of the window and hid in someone's courtyard. It turned out to be Mr. Hu who practiced medicine. I saw a fat girl from his family coming to the toilet to clean her hands and kicking her butt. Suddenly, I saw a man crouching under the courtyard wall. He couldn't move forward and shouted, "There is a thief!" He panicked, old man who came in hurriedly. When he saw it, he recognized it was Simon King, and said, "Master, Shi Wu couldn't find you," so he beat the man to death. The local government took him to the county official. "This will definitely be a death penalty. Return to the official, go home. I hope everything will be fine." Simon King thanked Mr. Hu, came home, and said to Pan Jinlian. The two clapped their hands and laughed, thinking that the trouble was gone. The woman asked Simon King to give him more money, so that he could be killed and not let him out. On the one hand, Simon King sent his close family members to Wanger, and presented the magistrate with a pair of gold and silver wine vessels and 50 taels of silver. The officials also spent a lot of money, but Zhu Qingqin and Wu were the only ones. The magistrate accepted the bribe and was promoted to office the next day. The local people escorted Wu Song and a group of bartenders and singers to kneel down in the hall. The county boss turned his face and shouted, "Wu Song, you falsely accused Bing Ren yesterday, and I have given you mercy many times. How can you not follow the law and now beat someone to death for nothing?" Wu Song said, "The villain was originally related to Simon King. I wanted to fight with him for revenge, but unexpectedly bumped into this man. He hit Simon King without telling him, and the villain got angry and beat him to death by mistake. I only hope that my husband will make the decision with the villain. Use Simon King to rectify the law, and avenge this with the villain's brother. A grudge, I'm willing to pay this man for his accidental injury," the county magistrate said. "This guy is talking nonsense. Don't you know that he is a Zoli in the county? There must be a reason for killing him now. So why bother with Simon King again? How can you be willing to recruit someone if you don't beat him?" He ordered the prisoners to be sentenced to more punishment. 3 or 4 slaves on both sides dragged Wu Song over and beat him 20 times like raindrops. After the beating, Wu kept saying that he was unjust. "The villain also has a place to serve my husband. Don't you have mercy on me, my husband? Don't torture the villain." After hearing this, the magistrate became more and more angry and said, "You beat someone to death with your own hands, and you still have the strength to deny it?" He ordered, "Hao Sheng, come and beat me up." Then he beat Wu Song again, struck 50 sticks, taught him how to grow a shackle, and put him in prison. Inside, a group of people were imprisoned in the gatehouse. The county magistrate and assistant officials in Nizheng were also friends with Wu. They thought he was a righteous man and wanted to deal with him. However, they accepted bribes from Simon King and became stubborn and refused to make any suggestions. Seeing that Wu Song was just complaining, he was tortured for several days, so he had no choice but to obtain a confession. He summoned the official Dian and the widower, neighbors, etc., and took him to Lion Street to examine Li Weiquan's body and fill in the boxes of the corpse. When Wu Song asked him about the unfair distribution of money, he got drunk and became angry. They got into a fight, punched and kicked him, and fell to his death. There were bruises ranging from green to red on the left ribs, face, heart, and kidney sac. After the test is clear, return to the county. One day, I made a document to declare the details and sent them to Dongping Mansion to confirm the details. The yin of Dongping Prefecture, whose surname was Chen Shuang and whose surname was Wen Zhao, was from Henan. He was an extremely honest official. After hearing the report, he was immediately promoted to the imperial court. but seeing him, high pride, and wise in his life. When he was young, he wrote about Xiang Zuan, and when he grew up, he studied in Jinluan. Always have a heart of loyalty and filial piety, and carry out benevolent policies every time. Household registration is registered, money and grain are managed, the streets are filled with people's praises. Poems are reduced, thieves are put to rest, and the elders' hymns noisy in the market. It's just that the famous mark has been in history for thousands of years, and the sound has been passed down through the ages. A virtuous man is called Qingshan, and his parents are upright and honest. When the governor Chen Wenjiao was promoted to the court, he took care of these prisoners. He first read the Qing County application documents and then read the confessions and drafts of each person. Why was it written on the paper? The text says, Qing County, Dongbing Prefecture, filed a lawsuit, stating that the prisoner Wu Song was 28 years old and had a surname from Yanggu County. Because of his physical strength, he participated in Dutu in this county. When I returned home on official business to pay homage to my deceased brother, I saw that my sister-in-law, Pan, did not keep her filial piety and married without authorization. That day, Song Song was listening in the alley, but he bumped into Li Weiquan at Wang Luan restaurant on Lion Street. Because he was drunk, he asked for 300 yuan of money he had borrowed before asking for it, but it was rumored that he refused. They also had a disagreement, so they fought and refused to accept each other. They were kicked and seriously injured, and he died at that time. There were witnesses from Niu Shi and Bao Shi, who were singing women, and they were captured by the local Baojia. The commissioned officials went to the corpse house, gathered the gangsters, Ligia people, etc., examined them clearly, took the confessions, filled in the diagrams, and handed them over. There was no difference in the re-examination. It is imitated that Wu Songhe fights and kills people, regardless of siblings, other objects, or gold. And the law is hanging. The bartender Wang Luan, Niu and Bo all confess their innocence. Now that the case has come to light, please allow me to implement it. In the 8th month of the 3rd year of Zhang, the county magistrate Li Daishan, the county chief Lihian, the chief bookkeeper Hua Hello, the Dianshi Xia Gongqi, and the secretary Jin Lao. The governor read it over, called Wu Song over, and asked, "How do you beat Li Weijuan to death?" Wu Song just kowtowed and said, "Master Qingshan, I will see the light of day when I am brought to justice." The younger one says it. The younger one dares to say it. Fu Yin said, "You just say it." Wu Song then married Simon King to the Pan family, caught the adulterer with his elder brother, and kicked him in the middle. Later, the county government was not allowed to file a complaint. The whole story is detailed. Once again, he said, the young man wanted to avenge his brother, but he was looking for Simon King to fight with him, and accidentally beat him to death. The young man was wronged, but Simon King had a lot of money, so he couldn't be banned. It is not a pity for a villain to die, but it's just that the villain brother Wu Da went to the ground unjustly and lost his life. Fu Yin said, "You don't need to say more, I already know everything." Because he called the official Jin Lao, he scolded the 20 banner, and said, "What are you doing? The county magistrate doesn't want to be an official? So why do you want to betray the law?" So he reviewed and recorded all the people one by one, and changed Wu Song's confession with a pen. Because he said to the second official Zuo, "This man is avenging his brother." Li Weijuan, who was killed by mistake, was also a righteous and fierce man, which is different from killing ordinary people. He opened his long shackles, replaced them with the shackles of misdemeanors, and put him in prison. All the people were sent back to the county to wait. On the one hand, he wrote a document and landed in Qing County. He mentioned the evil Simon King, together with his sister-in-law Pan, Wang Po, brother Yun, and his wife Hiju. When Wu Song was in prison in Dongbing Mansion, everyone knew that he was a good man, so they didn't even charge him a penny when he was imprisoned, and even gave him food and wine. Someone had already reported this matter to Qing County. Simon King found out and panicked. Chen Wenjiao is an honest official and dare not come to deal with him. He had no choice but to go and beg his relatives, Chen Jai's confidants. and asked his family to come to Tokyo and write to Admiral Yang at night. The admiral was transferred to the central cabinet, Grand Master Kai. The Grand Master was afraid of hurting Li Jixian's reputation, so he quickly sent a secret letter to Dongping Mansion to talk to Chen Wenjiao, without mentioning Simon King or Pan. This Chen Wenjiao was originally the chief of the Dali Temple and was promoted to the governor of Dongping Prefecture. He was also a disciple of Taishi Kai. He also saw that Admiral Yang was an official who could speak in front of the court. He used this favor to save Wu Song from death and asked him a question. The spine cane is 40, and the thorn is equipped with an army of 2,000 miles. Kwang Wu Da is dead. His body has no injuries, and the matter is suspicious, so don't discuss it. The remaining prisoners released the Ning family. The detailed application has been submitted to the provincial court, and the document will be implemented as soon as it arrives. Chen Wenjiao took Wu Song out of the prison, read the imperial surrender in front of the court, opened the long shackles, so as not to have a spine of 40, took a 7.5 kilogram iron leaf ball head shackle and nailed it, and tattooed 2 lines of gold characters on his face, repeatedly equipped with Mingju Prison City. After the rest of the settlement was completed, the palace official escorted the official documents and sent to anti-delivery officials to take Wu Songji to Mingju for delivery. On that day, Wu Song and the 2 gentlemen left Dongbing Prefecture and came to his home in the county. They sold a lot of their household goods and sent the 2 gentlemen to pay for their expenses on the way. He asked his left neighbor Yao Erlang to look after Yinger if you meet the favor of the court. If you are pardoned and return home, your kindness will be repaid, and you will never forget it. Neighbors and families saw that Wu Er was a righteous man and unfortunately suffered this, so they all supported him with silver coins, and some also gave him food, wine, money, and rice. When Wu Er went downstairs, he asked the local soldiers for their luggage and parcels. He left King County on the same day and took a meandering route to Mingju Avenue. There is poetry depraved. Fun recommended the details to serve the public, but Wu Song was about to die and he was relieved. Today, when I go to the prison city, the thick grass is luxuriant and the warm wind blows. Here Wu Er went to Mingju to serve as a servant, so there is no need to mention it. When Simon King asked about him and went on his way, a stone fell to the ground, and he felt as if he had gone away from the gangster and felt very at ease. So the family ordered their family members Lai Wang, Lai Bo and Lake Singer to clean the Furong Pavilion in the back garden, lay out screens, hang up brocade barriers, arrange banquets, and invite musicians to play, sing and dance. Invite the eldest lady Wu Yunyang, the second lady Li Jier, the third lady Mang Yulu, the fourth lady Sun Zui, and the fifth lady Pan Jinlian to have a drink together. The family's wives, maids and maids served on both sides. But see, burning incense on the tripod, flowers in golden vases. The utensils are listed as antiques in Xiangzhou, and the pearls and hapu are listed as curtains. In the crystal plate, there is a high pile of fire dates and pears. In the jasper cup, there is a lot of nectar and jade liquid. Cooking dragon's liver and blasting phoenix's innards. As expected, thousands of dollars were spent on chopsticks, black bear's paws, purple camel's hooves, and after drinking, the house was filled with incense. Crush the phoenix ball, and the white jade pot will be divided into white waves. Pour in the agar liquid, and the purple gold pot will spray out the fragrance. After all, he was the only one who dared to bully Shi Changfu after defeating Lord Mingzhang. At present, Simon King and Wu Yunyang are sitting on top, and the others are sitting on both sides, passing cups and lamps round, and surrounded by flowers. In the drinking room, I saw the young boy Diane leading a young boy and a little daughter. She had hair equal to her eyebrows, and was well behaved. She held to boxes and said, "The flower shop next door brings flowers for the ladies to wear." When they came to Simon King and Yunyang, they all kowtowed and stood beside them, saying, "My mother asked me to send this box of snacks and flowers to Mrs. Simon to wear." She opened the box and saw that one box was a box of pretzel cakes, with fruit fillings used in the imperial court was freshly picked hostas. Yunyang was filled with joy and said, Tell your mother to worry again." While looking at the vegetables, she sent 2 of them to have snacks. Yunyang gave the little girl a sweat scarf and gave the boy 100 coins. And said, "Please tell me more about your mother. Thank you very much." She asked the little girl, "What is your name?" He replied, he said, "My name is Shu Chun." The boy is Junfuer. He sent him away. Yunyang then said to Simon King, "We are pretty good girls from a flower family. We often send our servants and girls to give us things. I have never returned any gifts to him." Simon King said, "Huar, my brother has been married to this lady for less than 2 years. He said that she has a good personality. Otherwise, how could we have these 2 good girls in the house?" Yunyang said, "When his husband died and there was a funeral, I was there. I met him at the top of the mountain. He was born with a short stature, a lumpy skin, and thin eyebrows. He is fair and has a gentle temperament. He is still young, no older than 24 or 5. Simon King said, "You don't know? He was originally the concubine of Liang Zhongshu of Daming Palace. He married late and came from a poor family, so he came with some good money." Yunyang said, "He brought a box. Let's not forget about the etiquette and give him some gifts tomorrow." The judge heard that it turned out that Hua Zixu's surname was Li. And because she was born on the 15th day of the first lunar month, a pair of fish bottles were given to her on that day. So she called her Ping sister in small Chinese characters. First, she became a concubine with Liang Zhongshu of Daming Palace. Liang Zhongshu was the son-in-law of Kai Taishi in Tokyo. His wife was very jealous, and most of the victims beaten by her maids and concubines were buried in the back garden. Mrs. Li only lives in the study outside, with her adoptive mother waiting for her. Just because on the night of the first month of the 3rd year of Zheng, Liang Zhongshu and his wife were upstairs in Qian. Li Kui killed the whole family, and Liang Zhongshu and his wife escaped separately. Mrs. Li brought 100 large Western pearls and 2 pairs of sapphires, and went to Tokyo with her adoptive mother to visit her relatives. At that time, Eunuch Hua was promoted from the royal class to guard Guangnan. Because his nephew Huazi had lost his wife, he asked a matchmaker to arrange a marriage and marry him as the main wife. When the eunuch went to Guangnan, he also took him there and lived there for more than half a year. Unfortunately, Eunuch Hua was ill and retired at home. Because he was from Qing County, he lived in this county. Now that Eunuch Hua is dead, more than a penny is in Zixu's hands. Every day I walk in the courtyard with my friends, and Simon King and I were sworn brothers the day before. All day long, 10 members of the first class of Count Ying and Zi Shi would gather together in one place every month to sing and play with flowers. Everyone also saw that Hua Zixu was a diligent servant of an internal minister. He used money to coax him to invite a prostitute in the courtyard, and stayed away for 3 to 5 nights. Exactly, the spring scenery is beautiful in Zimo, and the orchestra is drunk in the Red Mansion. How many lives can there be? And happiness is in vain. This matter is out of the question. It is said that on that day, Simon King led his wife and concubines to have a happy family, and drink at the Furong Pavilion until late in the evening. When he came back, Pan Jinlian was already half drunk. He was enjoying the wine and wanted to have sex with the woman. The woman quickly burned incense, laid the bed, and undressed him to go to bed. Simon King did not argue with him, knowing that women were the best at playing the flute, so he sat in the green gauze tent, with the woman crawling beside him, held the golden necklace in his hands, held the words, and swallowed them in his mouth. Simon King lowered his head and played with the magic of coming and going. He slurped for a long time, and his lust doubled, because Hu Chun Mai came in and handed tea. The woman was afraid that the girl would see her, so she quickly put down the curtain. Simon King asked, "What are you afraid of?" Because he said, "There are 2 good girls in the second brother whose room next door. The one who sent flowers today is the little girl. The other one is also Chun Mei's age, and it was also received by the second brother Hua. I've used it, but when I saw his mother standing at the door, he followed her out, but she was very good looking." Who knew that this second brother Hua was so young and so full of people in the house? After hearing this, the woman took a look at him. He glanced at it and said, "You weird connoisseur, I can't scold you. You want to accept this girl in your heart. Just accept her. How can you make trouble from afar, tell the truth, and compare yourself to a slave? A slave is not that kind of person, and he is not like that. Not my girl. In that case, tomorrow I will sit back and make some space, and you can call him in the room and let him do whatever you want." After hearing this, Simon King said happily, "My son, you know how to do it. How can I not love you after such an interesting talk?" The two of them talked in perfect harmony, and felt even more in love with each other. They slowly played the flute, and then fell asleep in each other's arms. "Exactly, I have my own internal affairs to welcome my husband's wishes, and I play the purple flute diligently. There is Shijong Moon's evidence, the fragrance of orchids and musk deer floats in the gauze tent, and the lady's eyebrows are used to playing the flute. The snowy jade body shines through the curtains of the room, and I can't help but feel my soul shattered to pieces. The jade wrist and the gold bracelet make the two of them intoxicated and infatuated." Kai Lang was so moved that he asked his slave to slowly sip it for a while. The next day, as expected, the woman went to sit in Meng Yu's building. Simon King called Chun Mai to the room and took over the girl. Exactly, in spring, the apricots bloom red and the willows turn green in the wind. From then on, Pan Jinlian lifted him up with all her strength. She did not let him go to the pot or wipe the stove. She only asked him to make the bed and fold the quilts in the room, hand him tea, pick out his favorite clothes and jewelry, and entangle his feet until they were small. It turns out that Chun Mai is different from Kyuju. She is intelligent, playful, good at coping, and has a bit of color. Simon King dotes on him very much. Kyuju was stupid and ignorant, and it was he who women often beat. Exactly, the chattering in the chaffinch pond is noisy, but the soft bees and tender butterflies are always pitiable. Although the numbers are the same as those of flying birds, their high and low status are different.
Alright, this part of the story ends here.
Want to know what happened next? Let's listen to the breakdown next time.